नमो नमस्ते गुरवे महात्मने विमुक्तसंगाय सदुत्तमाय नित्याद्वयानन्दरसस्वरूपिणे भूम्ने सदा पारदयाम्बुधाम्ने नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानन्दमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य स्वराज्यसाम्राज्यविभूतिरेषा भवत्कृपा श्रीमहिमप्रसादात् प्राप्ता मया श्रीगुरवे महात्मने नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमस्तस्मै सदैकस्मै कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते हरि ओम तत्सत् जय गुरु. Some of you may know that generally I speak on Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita. This time I thought that I would speak on Bhagavatam, basically on Bhagavatam, particularly on Bhakti. The problem is, truly speaking, there is no difference between Jnana and Bhakti, but people are used to think in that manner. So I thought that we will share some of the insights we have about Bhakti and Jnana, particularly about Vichara. So, thinking that I will speak on Bhakti and from Bhagavata, generally I don't get any time to read. In the ashram there is so much of work of various kinds, and constantly whenever we would like to see something, write or note something, after 1 or 2 lines we have to get up, and when we come back in the night we have forgotten everything that I wanted to write. So it never happens. This time, because all the people, they came away to Vyasatapapanam for the function, it generally doesn't happen. This time almost the ashram has become empty. Everybody has come away here. So last 2 days I found that normally when all come away we will have more work, but because others also were coming away for the Satram during the day, I did not have much work. So I got enough time to read. And you know the trouble I have of reading is that when I start reading something, even in my college days also it was like that. Mostly I was not attending the classes. Mostly I would go around like the paribrajakas around, and most of the classes I would be absent. But when I start with the subject, I will collect all the books and all and sit and start making points and notes and it. Oh, then I would not get up at all. Maybe for 15 days or so, if the subject matter is something difficult, then in our case we had something called statistical mechanics, which everybody used to avoid. So for reading that, I collected the books and then started studying. After 15 days, I was feeling nausea, that no more able to. So much of one-pointed studies went on for so many days. So this time also about Bhagavatam, generally if we read, we will read only the 11th skanda, somewhere here and there some reference. But this time when I opened in the Bhumika itself, I found that the 10th skanda is considered to be the greatest in Bhagavata. And this 10th skanda also, the Rasa Panchadhyayi, is considered to be the supreme in Bhagavatam. So naturally I thought that, what is that? Let me go into it. So I started studying, and the result is that so many things got noted down or were there that I would not have been able to complete that even in a 7-day course also. So this morning it was in a very dire situation when I have to thought that, no, let us keep all the notes away, everything away, and I will speak whatever comes to my mind, because all these things we cannot. And they are generally become, whenever it is studied deeply, the expressions will become very difficult for people. Now almost all my shrotas, they know the term, we used shishi bottle. Shishi bottle means the glass bottles, small bottles and large bottles of glass. They cannot be chewed. So we refer that which cannot be easily understood as if they are becoming glass bottles. So often in the shrotas also we find comment that it is becoming glass bottles. So I found that the whole, whatever I wanted to speak, it will become glass bottles, which cannot be generally easily explained or understood also. So all that was kept away, and I thought of speaking something, especially in the Rasa Leela. Oh, I got so much of joy when I was reading. Even now, I am having horripilation. So much of joy. I have heard about Rasa Leela, but I have never thought that it is this. But I was enjoying reading and thinking and enjoying what is happening there. Then I understood that the greatest thing I discovered there from Rasa Leela is that we often talk about Leela, Leela. This is such a common word. Even on the people on the street also, when something is happening we cannot explain, they will say, oh, Bhagavan ki Leela hai. It is Bhagavan's Leela. Means it is according to his will, we don't understand that will. But the Leela term is much, much deeper than this. As long as the world is true before us, even if you don't understand the world, we cannot call it Leela. We use the term Leela, but the Shastras and the Rishis, they have used the term that it is the Leela of the Lord. The whole world, its activities, our life, everything becomes Leela when we really understand whose Leela it is. That means when we understand what this truth is, the ultimate truth is, what is the Satyam, what is the Lord, or what is Brahman, or what is Atma, all are same. All are same according to Bhagavatam also. Vadanti tat tattva vidaha tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. That which is the Bhagavan in terms of the devotees, which is Brahman for the Advaitavadins or philosophers, and which is Paramatma for the spiritualists, they are all referring to the same. And what is that same? Tattvam yad jnanam advayam, that advaya jnana. So the devotion to the Bhagavan also has to reach at a level where it becomes the same advaya jnana. In devotional term, we call it merger with the Lord. That the devotee and the Lord, there won't be any separation. The devotee should identify with the Lord so much that he will become one with the Lord. There won't be any difference. In jnana, it is the same thing. What is happening is that as long as we are looking for the Atma, as long as we are looking for Brahman, we are looking for something different from me. So as long as we are looking for something different from me, how can I know who am I? It is not possible. The very effort to discover something as Atma means I will be seeing that Atma, or I will be knowing that Atma, I will be discovering that Atma. It has to be self-defeating. It cannot be successful because the Atma is what I am. So only when we completely surrendered this effort to find out what the truth is, what the Atma is, or what Brahman is, when we surrendered that effort, then the truth reveals itself, the Atma reveals itself. When? At that point, what we are trying to know, say the Atma. Atma means we are reading about Atma, we are thinking about Atma, we are listening about Atma. It is something of a concept which I am trying to know. But actually, what is the object here? It is not an object, it is the subject, it is the Atma. Who am I? I am that Atma, and I am studying about Atma. So more and closer I come to the truth of who am I, that whatever we have studied as Atma will become what am I, what I am. The two should fuse. That is why it is called yoga. The idea, there is a fusion of the object and the subject. Whatever we are trying to know and who am I who is knowing, they become one. That is called the Advaya Jnana, when there is no subject-object difference, there is no knower, knowledge, knowable difference. When there is no seer, seen difference, there is only one, and calling one also is wrong. It is transcendental. It is beyond one also. So in devotion also, this fusion is important. That when we come closer and nearer to the God, so much so that we forget the whole world. Whole world means my body, mind, personality is also a product of the world, is it not? I am a product of the world. So when we are forgetting the world, we are forgetting about that egoistic, which I think to be myself, that egoistic idea about myself, that also will be forgotten. Until that is forgotten, we remain small, separated from the whole world, separated from the Lord, we remain separate. We cannot get fused with the universal Lord. I got this same thing so much in the Rasa Leela chapter, that the Gopikas, they were so delighted, they were all moving with Krishna, they were saying so much that they forgot everything except Krishna. Only Krishna was there in their mind. But after some time, what happened? In some of their mind, particularly as it says that one Gopika was carried to some other place and where she felt that I am a special Gopi amongst all others. That means their self-centered thinking started again. They started thinking about how they are looking, how are they appreciated by their Lord. That means again whatever they had forgotten, their mind was completely engulfed was completely pervaded by Krishna alone. That mind their own personality again arose. Immediately they fell. They fell from the state of Leela. Their own body-mind personality became real. And who am I? What am I getting? Where am I? Who is better? Who is not? So the moment this self-centered look, self-centered thought arose in their mind, they lost that state of united state, unition, state of unity with their Lord Krishna. And they found Krishna has gone. Maybe Krishna went away only to teach them this. But this is what the Leela is. Suppose in the dream you are completely involved in whatever is happening. Now, when the dream is gone, you have woken up, you have awakened, you are wakeful. The moment the dream has gone, you don't feel affected by the dream. Why? Because you know that it was the mind, it was my own mind where all these things were appearing, and they are not true. They were only appearing in my mind. So because you know your mind, you know that whatever happened in dream, it was all wrong. It was all just a play, just a Leela. That is the Leela. We can call it a Leela because you know that it is what is your mind. And you know that all these things were happening in my own mind, not outside. When the same thing happens, that we know the substratum on which the whole world is appearing to be, that God or consciousness or Brahman or Atma, whatever you may say, on which this world, variegated world, this variety of the world is appearing to be. When we know that it is just like as in the film, suppose it's a play of light, there is war, there is so many things happening, we are getting completely involved, but we know that it is all a play in the light. It's all happening. The substratum we know as light, we are not getting affected by it. Similarly, when we know what this substratum is, what is the universal consciousness, what is Atma, what is Brahman, then the whole world variety will become a Leela. Otherwise not. As long as the world is real and my small personality is real, and that reality is more than the substratum consciousness or Atma or Brahman, it is not Leela. So that was a great joy I got. I think I should thank the Satram for giving me this delight, because I would not have otherwise perhaps gone into it. How many years would have passed, I don't know, only because of the pressure I went through it, and now I am thinking that I will regularly read Bhagavatam every day. Upanishads, etc. I have read quite much. Now I will start reading the Bhagavatam. And so much of rasa that in Upanishad also it is called that raso vaisaha. That means the ultimate truth or Brahman or Atma. It is referred to as rasa, but what is that rasa? If we just get into the silence of samadhi, just the consciousness, well, it is something really great, but it won't have the rasa which takes place when we are discovering that truth in the world. Otherwise, the rasa will become worldly rasa. We are all overwhelmed and we are all completely encroached by the worldly rasas. Some are good, some are bad, all are worldly rasas. But the real rasa, rasovai saha, the Upanishad says, the real rasa will be there when in everything happening in the world, we will find that Lord or Atma or Brahman. In the Jnana level, when we pursue this, we may call it Jnana, but it's actually a spiritual sadhana. Truly speaking, any sadhana, the bhakti aspect is the emotional aspect, emotional coordinate, emotional part of the personality. Suppose I am looking for Atma or I am interested in knowing the self. There also, in the sadhana, if my whole being is devoted to that sadhana, is it not devoted, that devotion? That wholesomeness of the sadhana comes from bhakti. Otherwise, it will be a scholarly charcha, or even if there is experience, it will not have the emotional content in it. That is why it is said that jnana without bhakti will never be powerful and fulfilling. Similarly, bhakti without jnana will never be pure and relieving, delivering. So in Bhagavad Gita it is beautifully done. In 18th chapter, chapter 54th and 55 in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Brahmabhutaha prasannatma na shochati na kangshati. Brahmabhutaha, one who has got dissolved in Brahman, na shochati na kangshati. He doesn't grieve, doesn't desire also. Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu. He becomes equal to all. Because why should he become equal? Because everything is the same Atma, same Brahman for him. The whole appearance is just like if you draw your picture in the light or in the air, it is all made of air, like that. Everything is made of that. So he is sama to all. If it is good, that is also made of the consciousness. If it is bad, that is also made of the consciousness. Or if you say, Lord, good is also Lord's and the bad is also of the Lord. Guna dosha dishid doshaha, gunastu ubhaya varjitaha. As long as we are the guna and dosha, the good and bad, they are real to us. We are trapped in the world. When both is from the Lord or of the Lord or in the Lord, then we can transcend both good and bad. Not that I will do the bad, I will see the bad, whatever he is doing, but there won't be any hatred in the mind towards the bad. There won't be any special clinging towards the good also. Will become natural, whatever it is. Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. See, he says one who has attained the Brahman and become equal, have developed the equal vision towards everything. Mad bhaktim labhate param. He attains the para bhakti towards me. That means this is the supreme bhakti which comes after we have realized the Atma in everything, Brahman in everything, the oneness of the truth we have realized. Then only the bhakti will become supreme. Before that the bhakti doesn't become supreme. Then in the next verse itself, Krishna is saying, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. That bhakti, para bhakti, when he gets the para bhakti, through that bhakti, he comes to know what I am in essence. Yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. See, abhijanati, it is again jnadhatu. That means to know. He comes to know fully with that bhakti. See how he is playing with the jnana and bhakti. The jnana makes the bhakti supreme, and the supreme bhakti makes him understand the truth with its fullness, with its all-pervading wholesomeness. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. Knowing me, what am I in essence, then he becomes what I am. He enters me, or he gets connected or fused with me. He gets dissolved in me. So, where is the difference? There is no difference. The jnana will always talk about the vichara, vichara, vichara. But bhakti also, without vichara, bhakti will become, it will be misled. Without the vichara, we will not be able to understand where bhakti is leading me, where should I go. I remember one disciple once had come from a distance, far away, from Bihar also, to Swamiji. Old disciple for many, many years, he knew Swamiji. And he told Swamiji that, Swamiji, I have done enough of everything, now I have completely surrendered to you. Please allow me to stay in the ashram. I won't go back home. I will stay in this ashram alone, because I have surrendered tan, man, dhan. That means whatever I have, my body, my mind, my wealth, everything, I am surrendering to you, Swamiji. I will stay here. So whatever he had to say, Swamiji listened to it. Then after that, Swamiji said that, see, for you, it will not be right to stay in the ashram, because you are not a happy person in your family or in your work field also. Everywhere you had problem with interactions and all. So I would suggest that your mind, because now your mind has got turned completely towards the spiritual goal, you go to a place where Swamiji knew that they have a small kutia in Devghar or so. You go there, you stay there alone, look after yourself, you stay there alone and you do your sadhana there. That will be good for you. He listened to whatever Swamiji said, then said, no, Swamiji, but I have surrendered to you. How can I go there? I will remain here only. It's not only once, perhaps 3 times, 4 times Swamiji had to make him understand, no, what I am saying is that this will not be good for you. You will not be able to stay in the ashram. You have not been able to stay in your home also. And ashram, there are people from all the places, various economic background, various educational background, cultural background, difference of opinion. This is not a place for you. You stay alone in your kutia and do your sadhana there. No, Swamiji, I cannot do that. I will be here and do my sadhana. Now, see, he is repeatedly claiming that I have surrendered. And when surrendered to the Guru, and when the Guru is telling him to do something, advising him, giving him the advice that you do this, he is not ready to listen to that. Because what? Because I have surrendered to you. But that means surrender means what I want I will do with you, not that what you want I will do for you. Service means what? That whatever the Guru says, even if I dislike it, I have to do it. That is why people have to come to the ashram and do service there. Because you have to do whatever you may not be able to do whatever you like, and you have to do whatever you dislike also. That is why the necessity of an ashram is there. Now, if you are not ready to listen to even the Guru's advice, whatever he is telling about your sadhana, not about anything else, about your spiritual sadhana, you are not listening to that. You are only trying to do whatever you want to do. That is what happened with the delusion in bhakti. We say surrender. Surrender means sharanagati, taking refuge in the Guru. But in the name of surrendering to the Guru, we surrender to our own likes and dislikes. We surrender to our own wishes. So when it is happening in front of the Guru, you are coming to know that you are not listening to the Guru's words, and Guru may tell you that this is not surrendered because you are not able to do whatever I am telling you. But when it is to the God, then how will the surrender be tested? He will do everything you like and say that I have surrendered to God and this is what God make me do. Is it not? As Duryodhana also used to say, whatever I am guided by the Lord, whatever the Lord tells me to do, makes me do, I am doing only that. So this delusion in surrender is great. Without the vichara, it will not be corrected at all. Vichara is needed in surrender very much. In another incident, we were in Kharagpur, we were staying. At that time, there was one sannyasin who had come from Swami Nirviseshananda Maharaj from Rishikesh. He was brought by some devotees. He used to teach us Upanishads. Every morning we would go to the Upanishad class, attend the class, come back and then do our breakfast and other things and all, and then go to the institute. That was our routine. So in the morning itself, there all people used to come to the market. I am talking about an institution, IIT Kharagpur, where the market is a centralized market, where all will come in the market in the morning. So we had a professor who was heading the Ramakrishna Sangha in IIT. We have different groups over there. Some Aurobindo group, Ramakrishna group, then Osho group, various groups are there, and each was led by one person, one professor or so. Now, one day we happened to see him in the market, and I was telling that we are going for this Upanishadic class. He was asking, where had you been and all. We were going for the Upanishadic class. Then naturally I said that, why don't you also come? He is teaching very well and very dedicated. Why don't you also come? So he kept quiet for some time. Then he said, you don't know what Thakur has said. Generally, Bengalis will refer to Ramakrishna Dev as Thakur. So, you don't know what Thakur has said? Thakur has said, Tar ichha na hole gacher patatiyo nodbe na. That means if the God doesn't will, even a leaf on a tree will not move. That means even a minutest thing to do, God has to will. Without God's wishing, nothing will happen. So, if God doesn't will, how can I go to the Upanishadic class? So I told him that, oh, is it so? So the God doesn't have to will for coming to the market, for buying vegetables, cooking them, eating, overeating and spoiling your stomach. For all that, God doesn't have to will. Only the God has to will when you have to go to the Upanishadic class. Is it not so? So he is quoting Thakur in that. To deceive himself, he is taking whatever Thakur has said. Thakur has said there is a meaning in it. But we are applying, so various kinds of self-deception, ignorance, delusion, we suffer from. That is our nature. So, whether we follow the Bhakti Marga or Jnana Marga, actually there is no difference. But I am saying, as people think, that whatever you follow, whether it is Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga or Jnana Yoga, this delusion is not going to leave us. This delusion and self-deception is not going to leave us. So, Vichara is the only medicine for that. Everywhere we have to do Vichara. Vichara means trying to analyze and match it with the truth. That what are the Shastras saying? Am I doing that? What my Guru is saying? Am I doing that? Where I am failing? Where I am proceeding according to that? So this vichara, that is why in Yoga Vasishtha Ramayana, Vasishtha Deva has said, vichara tikshnatam etya dhihi pashyati param padam. Dirgha samsara rogasya vicharo hi mahaushadham. He says, vicharat tikshnatam dhihi pashyati parampadam. That why vichara, what happens is our intelligence, which is the faculty of understanding, that intelligence gets more and more sharpened, more and more sharpened. Sharpened means it is not the ordinary intellect, sharp intellect. It has to be truthful. It has to see the truth. Whatever is the truth should become more prominent than whatever is seen by our indriyas, by our sense organs. The truth should become more important in everything. That is the role of vichara. Whatever is immortal, whatever is permanent. In this world, nothing is immortal, nothing is permanent. So what is that permanent element? Everywhere we have to analyze and understand and compare and see where we are moving. He says, vichara tikshnatam dhihi pashyati parampadam. It is that understanding which is finally will be illumined by the jnana and it will see the truth. Where is the ajnana sitting? The ignorance is sitting in our intelligence, is it not so? Where will the ignorance sit? It is in our understanding, in our intelligence. So what we have to do is by vichara, by jnana, that ignorance has to be removed. Then the truth will become absolutely clear, revealed. We don't have to create the Atma, we don't have to create the Brahman, we don't have to create our own real identity. It is always there. Just like the sun, as it the sun there is cloud, we are not able to see the sun. We remove the cloud is removed by the wind and the sun becomes visible. We have not created the sun was there earlier also. Nothing has been created. Like that, what we call the Atma or Brahman or the ultimate truth, and which is the Lord Himself, that is always there. That truth is there. We are not able to see the truth because the ignorance is covering it. And what is that ignorance? Our full belief on whatever we are seeing, perceiving with the indriyas, not looking beyond it, not applying our intelligence to know what is it really. Suppose all of us are seeing the fan, the light and everything. If the light breaks, the light will go. But what happens if suddenly the electricity goes? Only then we will think of electricity. Before that we will not think of the electricity at all. But is it not the electricity which is getting expressed through the fan, through the light, through the amplifier, through everything here? But we don't know what that electricity is. Nobody is able to see the electricity. Like that, the whole world is appearing and is revealed by that consciousness, by the Atma, by the Lord, by Brahman. But we won't look at it. There lies the ignorance. Okay, this, I thought it's almost 40 minutes I have spoken, but it is not what I wanted to speak. So let us come to Bhagavatam a little. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranamamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramaham Syamekamalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmyam Avishkritam Tachinvan Supathan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimucyen Naraha. Is the sound all right? I am hearing lot of echo. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranamamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramaham Syamekamalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmyam Avishkritam tat shrinvan supathan vicharana paro bhaktya vimuchyen naraha. This is coming, all of you know, towards the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, last but one shloka. See, the first line, it says Puranam Amalam. Amalam means pure. Puranam, this Purana, we always, Purana we refer to ancient, but truly it is not so. Purana, according to etymology, Vyutpatti, it means Pura api nava iti. Pura api nava iti. That means in the most ancient time also it was new, and now also it is new. Always it is new. We don't call Purana anything that existed 100 years or 1,000 years or 5,000 years back. Everything will not become Purana unless it is still valid even now. Like we refer to the truth, the Atma, the Brahman, the Lord, as Puranam. That you must have read in Bhagavatam so many times. Puranam. Puratanoham purushohamisham. That there Purana means he was there before time also. That is actually the meaning. Because if you say it is in the beginning of the time, you cannot define the beginning of the time. There was no time in the beginning. So how can you say when the time began? Time is a cyclic thing. So Purana means which transcends time, which is beyond time. Anything in our scriptures, literature, because it is, we are calling them Sanatana, that is the same thing. Sanatana means which was ever new and ever living, which will never die. The eternal element, if you say eternal or immortal element, in the world you will not find anything. Anything in the world is getting born, changing, and then finally getting destroyed. Nothing is eternal here. So why do we call that we are all immortal? What do we mean? We are all immortal, nitya, nityam. There is nothing nitya in the world. The time itself is moving. Everything is moving. Everything is in the time and causality. Nothing is nitya here. The only nitya is the revealer of this world, the consciousness. The only immortal is the Atma, the consciousness, which reveals the whole world, reveals the external world, reveals the internal worlds of thoughts and concepts, and which reveals itself also. Atma reveals itself. So the eternal or immortal or nitya, all this term we are using, which is transcendental, which is beyond time and space, beyond the time and objects and everything, and that is the only truth. So this Bhagavatam is called Purana. It is not because it was written thousands of years ago. It was ancient. It was written at that time, but it is equally valid even now. It is always new. The God is always Purana. He is always new. You can call him Chiranavina also. That is, he is always new. Nutana, Chiranutana. So, he says, Yasmin paramahamsyam ekamamalam jnanam param giyate. Now, see, this is the ending shloka, almost the ending shloka of Bhagavatam. And here it is said that jnanam param ekam amalam param jnanam giyate. So, where is the conflict with Bhakti and Jnana? It is Bhagavatam is only speaking about knowledge, only speaking about knowledge. But that knowledge has to be utilized to make our bhakti productive, to make our bhakti true bhakti, to make our bhakti realize its goal. If bhakti is not taking to our goal, then that bhakti has no meaning. Many people have been worshipping for 50 years, 60 years, some puja room, lighting the lamp, we are chanting some shlokas or giving some flower and doing puja. Has anybody looked back and asked that in 60 years of puja, have I progressed? Have I come nearer to God, closer to God or not? We never do it. We don't do the vichara that by doing whatever I am doing, have I come closer to God or not? So vichara is essential to know where I am, and everywhere, whether it is in Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter or Bhagavatam in various places, in 11th skanda also, the bhakta lakshanas are there. What are the characteristics of a devotee? Are we reading it and comparing our qualities with that? We don't do that. That is where the vichara is coming. It is nothing less than knowledge at all. The practice of bhakti is to practice the bhakta lakshanas, to cultivate the bhakta lakshanas. In cultivating the bhakta lakshanas, then the characteristics of a devotee, don't we have to compare with my behavior with the devotee's behavior? That Akrura behaved like this, Uddhava behaved like this. Am I behaving like that or not? Even Uddhava failed. In Uddhava Gita, when he is finally confessing, who stayed in Krishna for such a long period, many years, nobody would live so long also. Even then he is confessing that he is still clinging to various things he has not been able to get over. We have to say that Uddhava also lacked vichara, otherwise this would not have happened. Uddhava should have taken to vichara to cultivate the bhakti so that the goal of bhakti is attained. So, paramahamsyam ekam jnanam param giyate. That the knowledge which is for the paramahamsa. Paramahamsa means those who are atyashrami. They have transcended all the four ashramas: brahmacharya, garhastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa. They may remain in the sannyasa dress, but they need not. They are not bound by the sannyasa rules or anything. They are the paramahamsas. They generally would move from place to place, serving the people, talking about the glories of the ultimate truth or Lord, as Shukadeva was. Now, why it is paramahamsam amalam, the pure knowledge from the Paramahamsa, because Shukadeva was a Paramahamsa. This Bhagavatam, when Vyasa wrote, all of you know, so I am not going into the detail, there is no time also. But to distribute it, to spread it in the world, who can spread it was Vyasadeva's thought, his worry. Because if this pure knowledge is given to somebody who has not attained the truth, whose mind is still getting affected by the world, still getting colored by the world, then this knowledge he will not be able to communicate to people. This is what I got very much from the Rasa Leela. See, all that people say so many things about Rasa Leela, that Krishna did this, Krishna did that, was it right? All those questions are there. Parikshit is asking those questions. What people now think that it is the question I am asking. I am very great. I can question Krishna. All those things Krishna himself has answered. And it has been answered by Shukadeva. Because if it is delivered by somebody who is under the effect of Madana, the Kamadeva, Manmatha, Kamadeva, who is under the clutch of sex, then the whole thing will be polluted, the truth will not come. So it was necessary for Shukadeva, and Bhagavatam describes how Shukadeva was. He was moving around without any dress, not even a kaupinam. He was walking along, and behind him Vyasadeva was running. The ladies, Apsaras, taking bath in a pond, seeing Shukadeva, there was no effect at all. Whatever they were doing, they continued to do. But when Vyasadeva came there, they put on the clothes immediately. They felt shy. Vyasadeva asked that, what is this? He went away naked. You are all fine. And seeing me, I am an old person. Seeing me, you are feeling shy? Yes, we feel shy because he is pure. You have written everything. You have done everything, but still you are not so pure that we will not feel shy to come before you naked. This story, whether it has happened or not, the Vyasadeva himself has written it in Bhagavatam to explain that when the person is transcending this worldly thoughts, worldly emotions and all, the real love dawns only then. Such a person will have the touch of the real rasa, the real dawn, real love. The moment our mind comes down to the worldly level, we lose that dimension. We will not be able to understand. Not only the Rasa Leela, before that the Bala Leela also. How is it that Yashoda and all, they were getting delighted by everything that Krishna was doing? Because Krishna was a Mahatma by birth, so that is why he is regarded as an avatara. Whenever we are in association with a Mahatma who is a Paramahamsa, automatically we will get the touch of this transcendental dimension. It will not stay with us always. We will fall from that, but we will get the taste of it, touch of it repeatedly. As I just now said, that the gopis were having that pure love of Sri Krishna, but the moment their self-centered thoughts came, they fell from there and they started thinking differently. Like that, in Yashoda's case also, that all of you are women, so many have children. Did you have ever seen the Vishwarupa in their mouth, or have ever got that kind of a delight from the Bala Leela of your own son? Because it comes from the transcendental nature. It comes as an osmosis, as a direct transfer from a person who is living that life, who is a Paramahamsa. So to spread Bhagavata knowledge in the world, the Vyasadeva needed a Paramahamsa, and Shukadeva was the person to whom he delivered this. And here Shukadeva is delivering all these things. So Rasa Leela, when Parikshit had questioned that did not Krishna violate the normal norms of dharma, then it was not a difficult question for Shukadeva at all, because he himself had transcended the usual worldly feelings of sex and all that. And there he could deliver it, which would relieve others also of those. The Bhagavata in the Rasa Leela, towards the end, the shlokas are there where he is telling that. I wanted to come to that. Let me see. Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam. See, this knowledge, Jnana word, will be used in various sense. At an initial level, in the theoretical level, sometimes Vijnana will be used as an experiential knowledge, and in the final level also. When he is saying Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam, that order we should not miss in our scriptures. That means the initial knowledge of the truth, scriptural knowledge or knowledge of the truth, that should lead to Viraga, Vairagya. Raga means color. Raga means clinging. Clinging to what we like and hating what we dislike. Both are ragas, plus and minus. Raga means color. We see the world always applying some color. What I like and what I dislike. What I like, I will run after that. What I dislike, I will run away from that. Viraga means when we get over the Raga-dvesha. When we become free of the raga, it is called viraga. That is what the quality is called Vairagya. So if the jnana is not not cultivating Vairagya in us, not giving rise to Vairagya in us, then that Jnana is not Jnana. This is Vichara. See how Vichara comes in Bhakti. The Jnana which is not producing Vairagya, we are still getting affected by the world, attracted by the world, we are still possessive, we are still fighting about many things, possessions and all. Vairagya has not dawned. Even a little food also, a little out of what I like, we get annoyed so much. We shout at the people at home. We are so much overwhelmed by the world. So, what will the knowledge do? Knowledge must bring in Vairagya so that we can remain unaffected by anything happening around. We can correct whatever is wrong, but we will not get affected by that. Jnana, Viraga, Bhakti. Then comes Bhakti. When Vairagya has come to us, then the Bhakti starts blossoming. Before that, whatever Bhakti we call is not real Bhakti, is not true Bhakti. We may do some puja, we may go to the temple. That is not Bhakti. Without Vairagya, Bhakti has no meaning. Bhakti means you revel in the Lord, in the truth. As much as you revel in the truth, as much as you revel in the Lord, so much the world will lose its attractions for you. Why? Because you have discovered that the source of happiness is within. Mark my word, it's very, very important. Once we experientially discovered the source of happiness within, then will you run after anything in the world to be happy? We think that by getting this I will become happy. By gaining this from the world I will become happy. By riches I will become happy. By fame I will become happy. By power I will become happy. Has anybody in the world ever become happy by getting all these things? Has the wealth made anybody happy? Has the power made anybody happy? It is the other way rather, if at all. So once we discovered that the source of happiness is right within, it is always there, but we are not able to feel it, we are not able to know it because our mind is always caught by the world, the small things. We are running after small things. We are not able to revel in the inner joy that is always there. So, once we know that the real happiness is within, then we will not run after the world at all. Vairagya will be automatically there. Withdrawal will be automatically there. You will do everything, but nothing will be able to affect you, or you will not cling to anything. We will not hate anything at all. Then dawns the real bhakti. From this viraga comes this bhakti, where you become of the Lord, for the Lord. And you do whatever, call him Lord or call him the truth consciousness. You you do everything guided by that consciousness. Whatever comes through that, you go on doing naturally. You don't have to look for what I will gain by that, what I will lose by that. Whatever the result is, it will automatically come in its fold. We will be guided by the inner law, by the truth consciousness. That is the Naishkarmyam Avishkritam. We understand through that bhakti the oneness with that consciousness, with the Atma, with the Brahman, with the Lord. So the whole world becomes then the Leela. Leela and Naishkarmya, they go together. We should understand. Naishkarmya, how it is. Even if you sit tight without doing anything, it's not Naishkarmya. You think that I am not doing anything. You are doing. Not doing and doing are both doing. Your sense you have in your mind that I am not doing anything means my body is real. I am not doing anything. So whether you move or you don't move, both are doing something. It is not Naishkarmya. Naishkarmya is when you realize that I am the witness of the entire world, which is a play of the three gunas. It is going on, it is playing. The whole world is a play of the three gunas. And I am only a witness of that. The play is going on in consciousness. I am never getting touched by the three gunas, never getting touched by any of the unimaginable activities of the world. Everything is taking place in me, but I am not affected by anything at all. That is the Naishkarmya. So when by bhakti we get completely identified with the Lord, then we find that the whole world takes place in the Lord, but the world never gets affected by it. Then only we can call it, from the Lord's side it is Maya, and from our side we call it Lord's Leela. See, in Bhagavad Gita it is there. One place he has said, Atma Mayaya. That is, I am, he is referring, I am established in my Atma Maya. The whole world I am showing, I am displaying by Atma Maya. And the other place he has said that it is very difficult to get rid of the Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is applicable to us, both in Bhagavad Gita. I don't have now where. Yoga Maya means we are caught by the Yoga Maya. That Maya, when we come to know the Lord Himself, we know that it is Lord's Leela. Then we are out of the Maya. The Maya will no more be able to cover us up, able to catch hold of us. Tat Shinvan Supathan Vicharana Paro. This is the reason I took this shloka first, but then I found everything is there. In one shloka, everything is there. We can go on thinking about it, speaking about it, discussing about it. Everything is here. So, bhaktya vimuchyennara. Here it is coming as vicharana paro. Shrutva, tat shinvan. That means listening to that. Listening means, as we are listening initially, we may think of the Lord, out of that the creator of the world, and then do some puja, worship, etc. But the devotion will not become real. The devotion becomes real only when we are told by the scripture or by the Mahapurusha or by somebody's speaker somewhere. We come to know that the Lord is not somewhere in the yonder sky. Even if you have mastered Advaita principle also, I am very sure when you are in trouble, you will think of, oh Lord, save me. And in your mind, Lord is sitting somewhere else, somewhere in the yonder sky. Is it not? We will call Lord from there, not from here. I have not seen anybody calling Lord from here. He will not call. He will simply do. So, initial bhakti is like that. We think of Lord, have some fear about Him, then it may get changed into respect. Then, when we start listening to the glory of the Lord, slowly, little by little, a little love or friendship may develop. That is the Shinvan. That is why Shinvan is very important. Then, when the interest grows a little, Vipathan or Supathan, then we study, we read the scriptures, chant the verses, start delighting in that. All those scriptural truths, they have effect. Even if you don't understand, if you listen to it, it will have effect on us. So we will read, chant, think. Then comes Vicharana, Vicharano. How? Whatever I am reading, whatever I am listening, is it true? But I don't find that any Lord in me. I find that by everything, even a little somebody abused me, I am getting affected. How can I say that I am the universal Lord? Universal Lord is within me. I am getting affected by anything. Sukha, dukkha, forget about sukha, dukkha. Somebody something wrongly said also, we get immediately affected. We are always fearful about losing something. We are desireful of gaining something. Then how can you think that the Lord is there in the form of my own self, my own Atma? That is what I am. So naturally, you have to listen, think, do the vichara that if this is the I, no, I don't know this I, then how can I know this I? Who knows this I? Is there anybody who has discovered this I? Let me go to him and ask him, is there any way, as Rama did, as Krishna also did, as anybody else in the world did. We have to go to a guru and get to know where lies the path to walk on this path and attain this. Vicharana paro bhaktya. So I wanted to make this point, this bhakti is coming after this vichara. The real bhakti comes after this vichara. And this bhakti generates further knowledge, and that knowledge makes the bhakti also supreme. That is how Bhagavad Gita also has said. Now I was talking about the Leela, so naturally of the Rasa Leela in the Gopika Gitam. I think it's in the third, the Panchadhyaya of the third of that. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriditam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam Sreemadatam bhuvi grinanti ye bhurita jana tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriditam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam Sreemadatam bhuvi grinanti ye Bhurida jana. Gopis were singing Tava kathamritam, that the glories or the words about the truth, about the Lord, tapta jivanam. They were singing because they were suffering in viraha at that time. The Lord had left them for some time because of their own self-conscious, self-centered look. The Lord had vanished, so they were suffering from viraha. But it is true of everywhere that we are suffering from so many tapas, the three tapa in the world we are suffering from. Tapta jivanam, for any suffering from this world, the life, the spirit, the life, the soul is tava kathamritam. The words of the Lord, the truth of the Lord, the glories of the Lord, they give us the real taste of nectar. Katha amritam, the nectar for those who are tapta. In Sri Krishna in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is beautifully there. Baba had once told that this viraha is much, much, much higher than the viraha of the world. That somebody dying or somebody passing away. When we get a touch of the Lord, touch of the truth, touch of our Atma, touch of the Brahman, and then again we lose it. That is, it is the first self-experience. The experience comes and goes, and then we suffer from viraha, because it is so much of bliss, that blissfulness we miss also in equal terms. Because the bliss is so tremendous that the loss, not finding the bliss, also become equally punishing. Viraha. So he says that it's a beautiful expression. It's up to 4:45, na? He says, तार आस्वादन जीव चले जाए, जीव जले जाए, तार आस्वादन तप्त इक्षु चर्बन जले जाए जीव ना जाए तेजन. It means it's in Bengali, some sort of old Bengali, that the taste of this Lord, tar asvadana, the taste of the Lord, it is so powerful that it is like chewing the very hot sugar cane. It's a very strange example. Sugar cane, it is very hot. If you put on the tongue, then the tongue will burn. But it is so sweet that you are not able to leave. That is, you are chewing with all its torture because it is so sweet. It is like that you suffered the viraha which is burning you, but you don't want to get out of that viraha also. You don't want to leave it. You cannot leave it. Tapta ikshu charvana. Kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham. It becomes kalmashapaham. It removes all our papa impurities, not papa impurities. Punya is also an impurity. Papa, punya, all are impurities. Kalmashapaham. Why? When kabibhihi iditam. Kabihi. Just now I was talking about the Paramahamsa. Kabi means a knower, a Krantadarshi, a Paramahamsa. Kabibhiriditam. When it is narrated, explained, distributed by a Kavi with his worshipful mind, with his all the greatness he assigns to this. Iditam means it is worshipped by. It is given the supreme position. A Paramahamsa is the only person who will give the supreme position. We all say that this is supreme, but we give him the last position. Who gives Lord the supreme position? You are always affected by, or you are always attracted by some marriage, some birth, some other thing or power or position or a naukri and whatnot. We don't give Lord the supreme position. We call him supreme and give him the last position. Even lower than police. Is it not? When there is trouble, we will call police. We don't call Lord. So, the Kavi is a person who has given this the supreme importance to the Lord's glory in their life. So, when they are describing, when they are presenting the glories of the Lord, it automatically, it washes off the impurities of the listeners. Kabibhiriditam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam. Even if we listen just without having any asuya, without having any disrespect towards them. If we have disrespect, then it is different. When we are listening to it, it only brings in auspiciousness. Srimad atatam. It spreads Srimad. This Bhagavatam is called Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is called Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Why? Srimad. Shri means Lakshmi, but Shri actually means the spiritual aura, the spiritual beauty. Lakshmi has got that beauty, spiritual beauty. So Srimad means one who has that spiritual power, spiritual beauty. It spreads spiritual beauty, spiritual power, the spiritual nectar, the spiritual revelation all over the world. Bhuvi, grinanti ye bhurida janaha. Those who talk about it, those who present it, those who read about it, they are the real munificent people. Bhurida janaha. They are giving the best of the gifts to the people, not the worldly gift. Even the kingdom. Nachiketa was asked by Yamaraja that I am giving you the whole earth. You become the emperor of the whole earth. I am giving you the lifespan of thousands of years. You live as long as you like. Nachiketa said, oh Yamaraja, it's not for me. Nachiketa, you better enjoy them. Nachiketa is not attracted by any of them. You are talking about wealth and property, they all will deplete our indriyas. They will not regenerate our indriyas. You are talking about the 1,000 years of life. A man does not become fulfilled by the span of life. Even after 100 years, if your desires are there, you won't like to die, will you? The desires are still living in your mind. Even if you live for 1,000 years and then also you have desire, like we have Puranic stories. What is his name? I have forgotten. He got the youth from the sun. Huh? Yajati.
Yayati.
Yajati. So even if it is 1,000 years, if my desires for enjoying the objects, the desire for object enjoyment, sense enjoyment has not relieved me, then that lifespan is not sufficient. But if I live for 20 years also, in that 20 years, if I have become free of all desires, how will you become free of desires? Only when you have known the truth. Then I may live, I may die. That 20 years is sufficient because I don't have any further desires, so that I need the world. I don't need the world. I will do whatever comes to be done. I will not do whatever not to be done. I will remain as nature permits, as I am, whatever my powers, according to that. He will become a natural person. That is what Nachiketa told. Navittena tarpaniyo manushyo. The man can never be fulfilled by any amount of wealth. I will finish, just I wanted to tell you that in this, the descriptions, it is there. In the beginning of Rasa Leela, it is said that in this Leela there is no kama at all. Krishna appears as Madana Mohana. Madana Mohana means, Madana means the god of love, the god of amorous love. So he deludes Madana. Shiva actually is called who destroyed Madana. That is different. Here Krishna, by his love, by his supreme presence, he deluded Madana. So Krishna is referred to in this Leela as Manmatha Manmatha. That Manmatha is the Kamadeva who sweeps our mind, who completely overrules our mind, overwhelms our mind. And Sri Krishna overwhelmed the mind of Manmatha. So he is called Manmatha Manmatha. It's all there. Beautiful expressions are there. In the presence of this truth, all worldly attractions, repulsions will simply give way. It will be washed off. So if the gopis, they take to the Lord's association in that manner, all their karma also will be freed of that. In the presence of truth consciousness, Kamadeva forgets his worldly power, or even duty you can call. Kama's duty is that. We will stop here, the time is over. The last verse I wanted to do, but let it be there. It is Vikriditam Vrajabadhuvir idam cha Vishnoho. This is also very important. I should just say it. Shraddhanvito Anushniyad Atha Varnayidyaha Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam Hridrogam Ashu Apahinoti Achirena Dhiraha. One who faithfully hears or describes Krishna's romantic, playful affairs with the gopis of Vrindavana with deep faith in the divinity of Krishna. This is very important. Their faith in the divinity of the Krishna made them pure. Otherwise they would have not been able to. Krishna, who is Krishna? He says here, the Idam cha Vishnoho, who regarded Krishna as the Vishnu's avatara. Vishnu means who is the all-pervading truth. And Krishna, who by his knowledge he had identified with the all-pervading truth, the universal consciousness. So Krishna and Vishnu are the same. So those who believed him as Vishnu, as Vishnu's avatara, will attain the highest pure devotion to Lord. he will quickly conquer lust, the universal heart disease of mankind. Nowadays, the heart disease has increased so much, so much. This heart disease has also increased everywhere, not only in our country, all over the world. Going outside, we feel, but our country is also aping the whole world. They don't read this. They will never read it. They will not listen to this also. But here lies the remedy to the universal hridroga, the lust, the universal heart disease of mankind. By listening to the Rasa Leela, one will be freed of that. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvigrinanti ye Bhuri Rajana Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvigrinanti ye Bhurida jana Tava kathamritam Tapta jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvigrinanti ye Bhuri Rajana